Welcome everyone to Homecoming 2021 and to the School of Graduate Studies panel on the PhD Community Initiative. I'm Chris DeLuca, an Associate Dean here at the School of Graduate Studies. To start, I'd like to acknowledge and take a moment to think about the lands that we are living on, whether it's here in rainy Kingston today or wherever you might be. As you may know, Queens is situated on the traditional Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee territory. This land was occupied long before European arrival by indigenous peoples with rich cultures that are still alive today, and with whom we are fortunate to share this land. We make this acknowledgement as an effort towards reconciliation, relationship building, and education. We are grateful to be able to live, learn, and play on these lands. I am excited to be moderating today's panel on the PhD Community Initiative, a Queen's signature program for graduate students. This unique initiative brings together graduate students and community organizations in a collaborative relationship in which students seek to address the challenges faced by our community partners. It exemplifies how collaboration and working together across disciplinary boundaries can be leveraged to strengthen our community and leads to valued social change. I'm joined today by three of our students. We have Emma, a PhD student in the Faculty of Education. We have Igor, a PhD candidate in chemistry, and Hannah, a PhD candidate in global development studies, all of whom have participated in our PhD community initiative and are here to share their experiences, their learning, and how their engagement has shaped our community with us. I'm also joined by Heather, who is our program coordinator for the PhD CI here at the School of Graduate Studies. At the end of our session together, we'll have time for questions, so please keep track of those and you can jot them down in the Q&A section as we go along. I'll now invite Heather to share some details about the program with us to get us started before turning it over to our students. Over to you, Heather.
Thanks, Chris. So as Chris mentioned, this is the PhD Community Initiative is an experiential learning opportunity that brings together PhD students from different programs of study into teams of 3 to 5 members to assist local organizations in addressing a particular issue of importance to them. We created the program to support students who are looking for opportunities to build community, to explore how to transfer skills and knowledge to a problem outside of their program, and for more opportunities to collaborate across disciplines. So how does the program work? Well, it launches in September when students are assembled into teams and partnered with an organization. Each team is assigned a mentor, usually a retired faculty member, who provides guidance, for example, in scoping the project or mediating team dynamics and sort of troubleshooting along the way. As a team, the students combine their diverse experiences, perspectives, and skills to address the challenge that their partner organization has identified. They come up with an action plan, and they work towards goals and deliverables, consulting with the partner organization as necessary. And ultimately, they provide final results that help the partner organization move forward in a meaningful way. Final results can be things like a data set, a toolkit, or an environmental scan with a series of recommendations, whatever is useful to the partner and feasible for the students to produce by the time the program concludes in April. So to support student learning in the program, we offer a series of facilitated workshops on effective teamwork, principles of community engaged learning, and presentation skills. At the end of the program, we have a really exciting and celebratory capstone event at which each team presents and shares their final findings. It's open to the public, anyone can attend, and we invite senior university administrators, our community partners, friends, family. The mayor is always invited and generally attends. Whoever would like to participate is welcome to do so. In the past, we've held it at the Isabel Bader Center, as you can see on the left. But of course, as a result of COVID, we've transitioned to remote, which you can see a screenshot of on the right. Our goal for the program is that it be beneficial to both students and our community partners. For students, this is ultimately a professional and academic development opportunity in which they explore how to transfer skills and knowledge gained in graduate training to a problem outside of the university context, while also gaining new skills and experiences that they may not have the opportunity to develop within their programs. So for example, project management, community engagement, or other new research methods and tools that they learn from other student participants. This is also an opportunity for community building and networking. It's an outlet for those looking for ways to meet students in other programs, for interdisciplinary collaboration, and for connecting to the broader Kingston community. The program also helps with career readiness. Through a series of facilitated workshops offered by Career Services, students get to start thinking critically about their experience in the program and about how to articulate the skills gained and applied during the initiative to any of their future career aspirations, whether that's within the university or outside of it. For our nonprofit organizations, as you might be aware, their resources tend to be quite limited. And so we're really appreciative of their willingness to engage with the university through this program. So it's our goal that they benefit from the advanced research, critical inquiry, and creative thinking skills that our students can offer. And it's our goal that they receive a meaningful final result. This is also a way for our community to see the value that someone with a PhD can bring to the workforce. These degrees are malleable. The skills and experiences they provide are broadly applicable. To give you a sense of the kinds of projects our students work on, I'll just share quickly a word about who we're working with this year. So we have two teams who are working with the City of Kingston, one on a project related to food insecurity in the community and another on social enterprises. We have a group of students working with the Royal Kingston Curling Club, exploring how that group can expand their membership and better serve the community. We have a team of students working with a group called Little Forest Kingston, which is focused on climate resilience and urban reforestation in the Rideau Heights area of Kingston. Another team is working with a teacher and principal at a local public school on a forest school program that they've developed there. And finally, we're working with our first organization outside of Kingston, Able2, which is based in Ottawa. And Able2 provides services to people with disabilities. And the students working with Able2 will be focused on their volunteer program. So in closing, I wanted to share a few quotes on program impact from student participants, from faculty, and from mentors. So one student has said that the PhD Community Initiative has not only fostered a richer, more connected PhD community at Queen's, but has merged research with practical community-based social action. While I was initially nervous to pursue a year-long group-based project, the PhDCI has proven to be one of the most treasured experiences in graduate school. I have been humbled and uplifted by the skills, challenges, and real change that my team and I have developed over the course of this year. It's an experience that I will carry with me far beyond this PhD. Another said that sometimes it's easy to become cocooned and become less involved in the community. The PhDCI is an engaging program that allows me to meet and interact with members from different graduate and community programs to work on a project that can have a positive impact. And finally, as you see at the bottom, one student said, I came to the program looking for an opportunity to give and left having received so much. One faculty member comments on getting students out of the lab and into the community, and that this is a great opportunity about how to translate their diverse skills outside of the lab or the petri dish, as they say, and helping our community really recognize the value that a PhD can bring. And finally, one of my favorite quotes from one of our mentors, she writes, I have observed a rich and creative learning environment, one in which students are encouraged to partner with their community agency in a reciprocal relationship that promotes learning and professionalism. As teams, we are given leeway in approaching our project in a way that benefits the individual's learning and growth while embracing team-based performance in authentic projects. Working with eager, bright, knowledgeable, and personable students has given me a bird's eye view into the future and has infused me with optimism and excitement for how they will shape our world. So now I'll turn things over to just a very few of those students. Emma, Igor, and Hannah all participated in the program last year, a year in which we debated whether and how to run the program owing to the challenges of COVID-19. Ultimately, we did decide to work exclusively with the City of Kingston, as they were developing a series of strategies to address resiliency and recovery in the Kingston community in response to COVID-19. So I'll now invite Emma to share some of her thoughts and experiences on the program.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm a PhD student from the Faculty of Education. I joined the PhD initiative for 3 reasons. First, I was looking for an opportunity to get more deeply involved in the Kingston community. I've grown up being directly involved in various communities, be it Aurelia, North Bay, or Kingston. In the pandemic, I found it especially hard to develop relationships and involve myself in Kingston. In the pandemic, in the community, and the PhD initiative offered this exactly. Second, I was hoping to meet new people outside of the program and faculty. The PhD can be quite solitary and iterative, so I was hoping to branch out academically and get to know others who may not share my specific worldview. And finally, third, I was hoping to learn more about knowledge dissemination. Although we are making important discoveries in academia, we don't always have the opportunity to see how these impact practice, and this isn't always within the scope of our work. And so I knew this program offered the opportunity to work directly with stakeholders. Now I'll share a little bit about our team. I was a member of a team comprised of 4 students and a mentor. Our mentor, Jane, and 3 students, one from health sciences, one from literature, and one from kinesiology. Immediately upon being paired with my team, I knew I would be achieving my second goal of working with people outside of my typical scope of work. We all brought differing viewpoints and methodologies to approach the same problem, and we were tasked with finding a way to solve this problem as a team. Our team was one of 2 teams who were tasked to work on Kingston's economic and social recovery. Specifically, we were hoping to increase community confidence and engagement alongside the pandemic. We worked directly with the City of Kingston and CURT, Kingston Economic Recovery Team, in which we met monthly to share updates and hear feedback from the team. Through our weekly team meetings, we developed a project which had 3 goals. 1, allowing Kingston residents to share and record their stories and experiences of adapting to daily life during the pandemic. 2, facilitating connections between members of the community that may have met under arbitrary circumstances prior to the pandemic, for instance, in public events at Queen's, or sitting next to each other at the screening room. And 3rd, providing the city and CURT with relevant, intimate, and useful information for Kingston residents about how they perceive topics of and challenges related to community confidence and involvement. Over the period of approximately 7 months, our team met weekly to develop and initiate our project, which we found to be a huge success and quite personally rewarding. Working on the project in and of itself was a rewarding experience, but coming together alongside the other 3 teams to share our project and learn about theirs was so insightful. Our team ended up continuing to disseminate our work following the conclusion of the program, as we finalized a report for the city and we spoke on the grad chat with Colette Steer. In our report, we outlined 8 major themes, which we identified through focus groups. One of them was the theme of privilege and social justice in the community. Our participants reflected on their privilege throughout the pandemic and how the underprivileged were facing far more extreme challenges. Given the opportunity and time, our team would have loved to continue our project and speak with participants from a variety of backgrounds whose voices were not heard or identified, and hear their challenges and experiences throughout the pandemic. I did not expect the impact we would have on our participants. Our project involved holding focus groups with various members of the Kingston community to hear about the experiences with resilience during the pandemic. Such gratitude was expressed by these participants, who felt they were being heard and having an impact on the Kingston community. We were so pleased to be able to provide this to them and honored that they were willing to be vulnerable and share with us. Thank you for the opportunity to share this today. And if anyone would like to know more about our project, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to chat.
Thank you, Emma. That was wonderful. And I'll now invite Igor to share some of his experiences and thoughts.
Thank you so much, Heather. As she said, my name is Igor. I'm a PhD candidate from Brazil in chemistry. And you might be thinking, he's doing chemistry. Why is he on a PhD community initiative? You know, and that's the beauty of the project, is the ability that you have to be doing something completely different that you do in the lab or your office, you know, and explore that with different people from different backgrounds. So it was very exciting. My team name was Triads, and I was working with Nabji, Trent, and our mentor Margot, which has been mentor for the PhD community for the past 5 years, I want to say. She's been for the entire time in the project. So it was very interesting, because once we joined in the program and we saw the impact it could have on the city, it was just astonishing to see that we could do that just being PhD students. And that impact is really important for me, because being part of a community that's not my own, it's really important that I give something back. And seeing the opportunity to work with the city of Kingston and to help people that were really struggling during the pandemic was a very good opportunity. Our project was focused on creating business opportunities, learning business opportunities for the community. And as you can imagine, it's a huge goal to take. And we had to decide which sector we're gonna choose to explore. And the thing is, throughout the pandemic, lots of groups suffer more than others. And Emma just talked about privilege. So some groups were more privileged than others. And one of the underprivileged groups were the ones that were self-employed or relying on like the trades to get jobs. And among those people, those individuals, we had the artists in Kingston. And the arts community in Kingston is booming, right? We all hear the music, the art, we have things sparking up everywhere in the city. So Navjit is actually someone that is an artist himself, and Trent as well, he does stand-up. So it was very interesting because from that perspective, they were seeing the benefits that the program that we're trying to develop could have. And I have no artistic abilities. So it's very interesting for me to combine with the knowledge and the experience and try to understand how we could help artists. So when the city came to us, they wanted to create opportunities to upskill those individuals. And the way we thought about it was, Queens has a lot of knowledge about business development and entrepreneurship because of the DDKIC and other institutions like the Smith School of Business. Plus, we also have SLC in the city, which is also a college that provides a lot of business opportunities for the students. So we decided that we wanted to combine those two institutions and help the city develop a program that was tailored for the artists. So they would learn all about entrepreneurship, but in a way that could really impact their lives. So they would take all these things that they know about a sculptor, a painter, an artist on the theater, and use that to create something that could be used as a business. So for us, the most important thing was to understand if the community was willing to be part of this project and what this project had to look like if we wanted to put it into place. So we had a bunch of interviews with Queen's professors, people from the institutions that I mentioned, and we also talked with the artists to understand what they wanted from the program and what would be helpful for them. We learned a lot. I had such a great time interviewing all these individuals, and I still talk with some of them. And it's very interesting to see that the artists were eager to get that knowledge and those skills. So it's very interesting when we clearly could match what the university and SLC could provide and what the artists wanted. So at the end, when we had our report and lining up everything that we thought that was important for the program to have, who the partners should be and what the issues that should be addressed, we heard from the city of Kingston that it was everything that they wanted. They were super excited to work with this. And it's great to hear that, right? You put a year of effort, and to hear that your efforts are actually being, going to be useful, it's amazing. So just to conclude, this experience on the PhDCI helped me so much. I connect with people that, like Emma said, I would probably never connect before because you're not in my department. So it was a great experience to come out of the chemistry department, come out of Chernoff Hall, and be around, be in the community. And I'm really looking forward to keeping those connections going on and making new ones. And I really appreciate the opportunity that the PhD Community Initiatives gave me. So if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to chat about it. Thank you so much, Head and Chris.
Thank you, Igor. Another wonderful summary of what you worked on in your learning experiences. And finally, I'll invite Hannah to speak. Hannah's been a part of the program twice, and I'll let her speak more to her experiences on it.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you, Emma and Igor as well. So hi, everyone. My name is Hannah. I'm a PhD candidate in the Global Development Studies Department. And as Heather mentioned, I've actually participated in the PhD CI program twice in 2 different capacities. So I first joined the program in 2019 as a participant. My team, which was composed of Sabrina, Eduardo, Daniel, and our mentor, Anne, was partnered with the Museum of Healthcare here in Kingston, and we were tasked with improving the museum's member engagement, trying to determine why its members weren't coming to the museum.
My team called themselves Health is Wealth, and we sent around a large qualitative survey to the museum's members asking what the museum could do to encourage their participation. And we learned that things like parking and hours were hindering museum access, and we're able to pass on some suggestions from the members themselves of events that the museum could hold in the future to encourage their engagement. And so I had such a great time doing that project that I actually joined the program again the following year in 2020, this time working as a co-mentor with my mentor from before, Anne. And so my team with Nathan, Chris, and James was partnered with the City of Kingston's economic recovery team, like Emma's. And we were asked to measure consumer confidence to determine how Kingstonians were feeling about spending money in the community. And so we learned that consumer confidence had wavered with the onset of the pandemic, and that Kingstonians were spending less money locally and also experiencing the pandemic differently, connecting back to those ideas of privilege that Igor and Emma were talking about as well. And so we shared those ideas and those results with the city with the hopes that it might influence local public health guidelines, but also policies looking at the inequalities within our community as well. And so, of course, these projects were not only interesting in their own right, but have actually ended up influencing my dissertation as well. So, my research centers on environmental charities, and after working with the Museum of Healthcare, I wound up incorporating a very similar donor perspective survey into my thesis after seeing firsthand the role information about donor spending can play in facilitating a nonprofit success. And the PhDCI also taught me how to navigate those types of community relationships, which has been really important for my own research practices, where we emphasize the principles of community engagement, the idea that you should strive for equity in how you conduct research in communities. In the PhDCI, which emphasizes those very same principles, I was able to put them to use, which was extremely valuable practice and has actually shaped how I conduct my own interviews for my dissertation. And so, in addition to that, in addition to kind of the academic gifts that this program has given me, I've also joined a local community organization. And I really feel that the PhDCI gave me the literacy to navigate that type of community relationship. And so now I'm very happily involved with 350 Kingston, which is a local climate change focused organization. And that's something I don't think I would have had the confidence to do had it not been for my experiences in this program. But most importantly, I think, were the friendships that the PhDCI fostered. I've made really fantastic friends through this program. I actually saw my Health is Wealth team from 2 years ago. We met the other week for tea at our mentor's house. And we all came from very different academic disciplines, but I know that we learned a lot from each other. And so I'm very grateful for the PhDCI for offering us that space to meet, connect, and ultimately become friends in the first place, which is something that can be difficult to do in graduate programs, which can be quite insular. And so I really can't say enough about this program and the way that it's enriched my own life. The opportunity to network with other students as well as the Kingston community is invaluable, but I think the PhDCI also gives you the chance to grow in professional capacities and to develop into more engaged and involved citizens. And so it sets you up to be successful beyond the academic sphere, and I think that's incredibly valuable as PhD students as we look forward into our academic, professional, and citizen careers and pathways. So as Igor and Emma mentioned, I'm also happy to answer any questions you have, and thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you, Hannah. This program is so wonderful in many ways. And one of the really rewarding aspects of the program for me, I mean, the final results are always amazing, but seeing how the teams work together throughout the program and then how they remain in contact after and build these friendships and relationships, and how students also support one another through their degree requirements even. It's always amazing. So I'm just as a note again, if you have any questions, feel free to post them either in the chat or the Q&A box, and we'll keep an eye out. But maybe as we're waiting, I'll just ask a question just generally. I mean, sort of what was what sort of sold you on the program? Why did you sign up? Because it is a commitment. It's a, September to April. So maybe I'll start with, we'll go with the same route with Emma starting.
So I did really want to get involved in the community in some capacity, but I recently moved to Toronto. Last year, it was recent, and I felt the most disconnected from school I had ever felt, and I was having a really hard time just pursuing my while also just being a part of the community. So I was actively looking for something to pull me in. And when I found this program and saw that I could also work with people from other faculties, it was an immediate yes for me. So I came to the first meeting and was sold immediately. And yeah, I'm so glad I did it. Very glad I did it.
Great. Igor?
I guess he was changing what I was seeing every day. Like I go to the lab and I see the same things, see the same people, which is awesome. But like, I also wanted to explore something different. I also want to explore different skills, try myself out on something different, and actually put myself out of my comfort zone and try something that I wasn't like prepared in a way to do. So it's very interesting to try that. So I wanted that challenge and that opportunity, like I said, to give back as well to the community that I'm part of. So
I mean, I think very similar to what Igor and Emma have said. I come from a very, very small PhD program, so I wanted to meet new people. I love my cohort, but there's only 3 of us, so it was exciting to me to get to interact with other disciplines. And then in global development studies, we do study a lot of these principles of community engagement, but I wanted the opportunity to put them to use and to develop and expand that. And so when I read about the PhDCI, I thought, well, what a great connection to the research that I'm doing, all the theoretical work. What a great chance to then put that into action. And I think we've all really done that, and that's exciting to me. So that's why I joined, and that's why I joined twice, actually.
Great. And I do have a question here from Colette. Colette asks, how did you manage the time you needed to do this and keep on track with your research? Which is a great question, and also a question we get when we are introducing this program to people for the first time. So maybe we'll, again, start with Emma.
I'm just thinking something that my supervisor and some of my other professional mentors have taught me is that in the dissertation program or in the PhD program, you really need to work in service into your time slots, just to develop yourself. So throughout the beginning of the PhD, I knew I would have to slot in some time to work on service in some capacity, service being like involvement in the community, whatever capacity that might be. So I knew that I was going to be trying to devote some time every week to whatever involvement I might be doing at the time. But what I found to be most useful was talking to my team members about what their year-long plans were, what their time commitments were, and sharing my own so that we could each evaluate when we are most free, what we could provide, and what we needed to offer to support each other, because we were all going through our exams and other various things that came up throughout the year that took other time from us.
Great. What a great way to go through to build in the service, to have that as part of that conversation that you're having with your program and your supervisor. Igor?
For me, it was something that it was actually helpful to build time management within the program. So setting priorities was very important. So we not all knew where we were in our programs, in our team members, I mean. So we were like, help each other out when we needed, and like someone would take a bigger load at a specific time of the project because they were more free, and someone else would, go do the thing, and then the next time they would do it again. So it was really important for us to set priorities and set who was going to do what, and that was very good because then we could manage ourselves in the sense of like, okay, I have this time slot on my day, I'll do this thing for the program. And being online as well is very helpful because we could do everything, over the cloud and things like that. So
great. And Igor had quite a small team, so the time management thing I think was a big thing for them. And Hannah?
Yeah, very similar. Where we, as a team, we got together and we kind of mapped out our schedule at the beginning. So there were two of us writing our comprehensive exams in October, and so we knew at that time to pass the work off to other people. And I think, at least with my first team, one of the things that we talked about at the end of the program was that we had learned to delegate. And I don't know if this is true for a lot of graduate students, but certainly we had all come in with poor experiences in groups before. And so we had learned the value and the benefit of actually delegating work, and deciding, being very open and honest about what you can and can't do. All four of us agreed that that was a skill that we had developed really well by the end of the program. So that was a really fantastic positive outcome of that kind of, yeah, learning how to manage your time, but also how to communicate that time management to work with somebody else's schedule. So a good life skill, I think.
Life skill. So that brings us to 1:30. Maybe I'll thank everybody for joining us today. And maybe Chris, would you like to say a few words to close things off?
Absolutely. Thank you, Heather. This has been such a wonderful session to just bring together the learning of this exceptional program and really hear from the students in terms of the impact it's had on you and how your involvement has shaped our community here in Kingston. So thank you, Emma, Igor, and Hannah, for sharing your thoughts and your experiences today and for being part of our program. We really appreciate that. And thank you, Heather, for your coordination of this program. For those of you who are listening, this program involves a lot of coordination throughout the whole year, and Heather is incredibly gifted at doing all of that. And I'd also like to thank Carrie, for our ASL interpreter, for signing throughout the session today. We really appreciate that as well. Thank you all. I hope you enjoy Homecoming 2021, and we will see you next year. Take care.